This is Billionaire Mondays. Every Monday we present you with another billionaire. Today we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Howard Schultz. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers and welcome back to our channel. How's luxury treating you these days? It's great to see you back for yet another video about billionaires and the empires they create. Today we have a special entrepreneur on our list, and it's none other than Howard Schultz, the CEO and chairman of Starbucks. Howard Schultz is an American businessman mostly known for his executive career at Starbucks. He was the CEO of Starbucks from 1986 until 2000, and again from 2008 to 2017, as well as its executive chairman from 2017 to 2018. Apart from the famous coffee company, he co-founded Maveron, an investment group, and was on the board of directors for Square Inc., a financial services and payment company. He grew up in a poor family in New York and saw potential in sports. He was awarded a sports scholarship to Northern Michigan University and graduated with a BA in speech communications. He later worked as a salesperson and then moved to a Swedish coffee dripper company called Hammerplast. It was there when he first met Starbucks in 1981, and a year later, he was working for them. His career at Starbucks started as the director of marketing, where he learned so much about coffee and the business itself. When he visited Italy, he got the idea of coming up with multiple coffee bars so people would always have a place to come and grab their cup of coffee. From that single idea to the gigantic international empire that Starbucks is today, it was just a series of good decisions and strategy. They managed to change the whole concept of coffee and coffee shops, and now everyone wants to be like Starbucks. They might not have the best product on the market, but the place they've earned in people's minds and hearts will probably last for years to come. Because you don't get a coffee, you get a Starbucks. It might be a little expensive for some, but for others, it's considered a statement beverage. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. Let's just cut to the chase, shall we, and see how Howard Schultz made a name for himself in the industry, how he helped Starbucks get 27,300 stores in 75 countries, and other shady business that happened throughout the years. Sit back and relax, Aluxers. You're watching the 15 things you didn't know about Howard Schultz. Number 1. He opened his first coffee shop called Il Giornale. The story of every successful brand starts with a bit of trial and error, don't you think? Well, for Schultz, it all started in Italy, where he went to learn more about the coffee culture in order to implement it at the coffee place he was working. He came back wanting to change things, but the owners were not into it. So he resigned in 1985, and in 1986 raised enough money to open his first coffee shop called Il Giornale, after the Italian newspaper. Business was good, and 2 years later, Starbucks sold its retail unit to Schultz and Il Giornale for $3.8 million. Howard later named Il Giornale after Starbucks, and from that point on, everything else is history. Number 2. He wrote 2 books on business and Starbucks management. Everyone that hears the name Howard Schultz instantly matches it with Starbucks. He's been working 30 years with them and helped the company through sickness and health. He did resign a few times, but he always came back to Starbucks, just like all of us do. Having such a vast experience in business and restaurants, he actually spends a lot of time giving back to young entrepreneurs. He wrote 2 books about what it's like to run a big business and struggles that come with it. They went through financial crisis, scandals, bad times, and growth. His books are called Pour Your Heart Into It, How Starbucks Built a Company One Cup at a Time, and Onward, How Starbucks Fought for Its Life Without Losing Its Soul. Hey Luxers, if you've read his books before, let us know in the comments. Number 3. He owned 2 basketball teams. Just because he was the CEO or chairman of Starbucks doesn't mean he didn't have other passions and businesses to attend. Quite the opposite, actually. Howard Schultz was involved in side projects outside of his main focus at Starbucks. Like everyone else, he turned back to his first love, sports. Howard went to college thanks to a sports scholarship, so sport was his first love. He owned two basketball teams, the NBA Seattle Supersonics and the WNBA Seattle Storm, but later sold them due to feuds with the team and a lack of support from the community. Number 4. He started a partnership with Arizona State University. Taking a look at Howard's life and career, you can see a strong pattern emerging. He always wants to help others succeed, just the way he did. He's the epiphany of the American dream and wishes to keep that dream alive by giving change to people he works with. A few lucky people that benefit from his generosity are the Starbucks workers, and since they usually hire youngsters and students, he decided to help them complete their education. Howard Schultz is known for pioneering Starbucks' partnership with Arizona State University, which allows all employees at Starbucks working 20 or more hours a week to qualify for free tuition through ASU's online courses. Number 5. His net worth is now $2.6 billion according to Forbes. Howard Schultz can be a part of the Billionaires Club. He might not be in the top 10 billionaires, but he certainly has made some serious money in his life, and he's only 64. According to Forbes, he has a net worth of roughly $2.6 billion right now. At one point, he had a $1.19 million salary at Starbucks, not to mention money coming in from other projects. Since he's such a philanthropist, he and his wife, Sherry Schultz, co-founded the Schultz Family Foundation, which currently supports two national initiatives: Onward Youth, which is aimed at promoting employment for young people between the ages of 16 and 24, and who are not in school and not working, and Onward Veterans, that aims to support post-9/11 military staff to successfully transition to civilian life. Number 6. He helped Starbucks get through all the scandals and crisis it's faced. HoReCa, or the hotel, restaurant, and cafe industry, is the hardest industry to work in because it involves working closely with people, and that is always challenging. Coffee shops are no different than hotels or restaurants. They can always get the orders mixed up or burn people with coffee, and so on. Starbucks has been on the market for some decades now, and in this period of time, they've had their fair share of scandals and problems. And when that happened, it was the genius mind and people skills of Howard Schultz that helped the company get through it. It takes a special approach and understanding to know how to react to sensitive issues and not damage your credibility and image. Howard definitely was more than just a CEO for Starbucks. Number 7. He implemented at Starbucks an inclusive policy. When you have 27,300 shops in over 75 countries, it's impossible to check up on every single employee and be sure they are aligned with the company's values 100%. Especially in this industry where most employees are young or students looking to make extra money. Unfortunately, due to this issue and the scale of the company, most problems they face so far were because of their employees. The most recent example of this was the Philly incident, when a barista called the police because two black men were waiting for a friend in the Starbucks location. This racial behavior is not tolerated by the company and has caused them a lot of PR damage in the media. As a result, a few days after the incident, all Starbucks locations were shut down for biracial training. Number 8. He decided Starbucks should buy their competition and close it down. In every business, you always have to deal with competition, no matter how niched you are. In some industries, competition is quite harsh, and it can kill smaller businesses that don't know how to stay relevant or play the game just yet. If you're big enough, you can deal with your competition the way Starbucks did and so many others. You buy them out. That's what Starbucks did. They bought out a few coffee shops, tea shops, and bakeries, and then toned them down or simply dissolved them so they didn't exist anymore. If you have billions of dollars, you can buy your competition most times. It's surely not the best or most ethical practice, but the big dogs are doing it. Number 9. 100 million customers enter Starbucks every week. Since you're watching this video, you most probably have heard about Starbucks. Maybe you're a client or a fan or a hater of this brand. Whatever side you choose to be on, it's hard not to admit that everything they do is pretty close to brilliant. Their concept is copied by most coffee shops, and having your name on the cup, most times spelled wrong, is what everyone wants. In some countries, Starbucks is tremendously famous. Some even have their morning coffee every day there or simply just pop in to work. Starbucks has so many fans that every week, More than 100 million customers enter their doors, and they sell 8 million cups of coffee every day, which, love them or hate them, is pretty impressive. Number 10. Howard Schultz bought a penthouse in New York for $40 million. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a huge mansion in Hawaii if you have enough of it. If owning a house on an island doesn't make you happy, then we don't know what can. Most billionaires choose to invest their money in real estate, cars, and startups. This is the fastest way to invest your money and also enjoy it. Howard Schultz, like all billionaires, has a few estates and possessions to envy. For example, he bought a house in Hawaii for $33 million, and last year, he dropped $40 million on a glassy duplex penthouse in New York. He also bought his son a $4.6 million condo in New York as a wedding gift. Looks like he's not afraid to spend some money on comfort. Number 11. He brought latte culture to America. Starbucks first started as a coffee roastery, then they transitioned to coffee shops, and then to an international sensation. Since the 70s, a lot has changed, and we can look at Starbucks as a pioneer in this industry. With the right ideas and patience, they managed to keep all locations in-house without any franchising. The inspiration for Go-To also came from Milan and Howard's business trip. There, the streets were filled with small coffee shops and espresso bars, where people would pop in to get a quick coffee, but also have a sense of community and belonging. Starbucks replicated that and made it better. They introduced espresso, cappuccino, and lattes as main features on their menu, and they basically brought lattes to America. Number 12. He might want to run for presidency. The news of Howard Schultz stepping down from Starbucks was all over the news. Some considered it a mistake, some a strategic move, and some even rumored that Howard wants to run for president. Many people have speculated and interpreted his resignation letter, but only time will tell what his next move will be. He might run for presidency since he was involved in Hillary Clinton's campaign and publicly endorsed her. He supports same-sex marriage, he has an extensive leadership career and wants to do more as a citizen. These qualities might be good for president, but nothing is set in stone just yet. Maybe he'll return to Starbucks after a while. Who really knows? Number 13. He embraces the cryptocurrency trend and believes in it. If you read the news, you'll know that cryptocurrency is now the biggest thing people talk about and want to learn more about. The technology behind it is still relatively new, and there's a lot of unknowns about it, and how to implement it properly in the whole financial system. It's funny that a lot of people try to embrace, but there's always a few that fear the change and don't want something new. It can revolutionize payments and help us view finances clearer, and Howard Schultz understands that. He believes that cryptocurrency will make its way into our daily lives, and he would like Starbucks to embrace that trend when it comes time to do it. He's always been a visionary in the matters of business, and that's why Starbucks is doing so well. Number 14. In China, every 15 hours, a Starbucks opens. China is a great country and one of the most powerful economic players. Their industries and institutions are running smoothly and are propelling the country to the top. This is also because the country has a strong culture of hard work and constantly wants to be the best at everything. They also have cheap labor, so a lot of companies choose them. Starbucks is no exception when it comes to expanding and opening shops in the biggest cities. China is so addicted to the coffee they offer that every 15 hours a new Starbucks opens up shop. China has become Starbucks' second largest and fastest growing market, and one the company expects to eclipse the US market one day. They have over 3,000 stores already and will open more than 2,000 by 2021. I guess it seems like the Chinese run on coffee and not tea. Number 15. He doesn't have money goals. You don't stay in a company for 30 years unless you love your job and the whole company. We're not going to talk here about staying in a place because you need money or security, because that's just not the case. Howard Schultz took a big bet when he decided to revolutionize Starbucks and the whole coffee concept, and it worked. He stayed with Starbucks for 30 years because he loves his job and the company. Just like he loves his family, you'll hear him talk about Starbucks with that same affection. He believes that every business should make a profit, but he also believes that only making money is a very shallow goal. Being invited to events and conferences, he's always emphasized the importance of caring for your employees and customers. Running a business is about responsibility and making a change, not just about making money. Take note, Aluxers. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let us know in the comment section below which Starbucks beverage is your favorite. You must have had one at some point. And for those of you stuck with us until the end, and for being a true Aluxer, of course you get a bonus fact. Number 16. He drinks 5 cups of coffee every day. If you do what you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. This is a quote we hear from a lot of successful people and motivational speakers. Howard Schultz didn't love coffee as a kid or an adult. He loved sports and wanted to make it in life since he had a modest upbringing. He later discovered he's a good salesperson and wanted to pursue working at Starbucks because he believed in it. No questions here. He made it, and he made it big. But we can say now that he does love coffee. In every letter, you'll see him mentioning coffee or having coffee, and he's admitted to drinking 4 to 5 cups of coffee per day. That's a lot of caffeine, but he does work in the industry, so I guess it can be understood. And I mean, you never know. Maybe he's testing new origins, blends, or flavors. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.